Really? Well,
That'd
let's
be
not
nice.
swear or anything.
YouTube.
Don't fucking swear. Okay.
Don't fucking swear, you fuckers. Classic, like children. Do not swear. So what's the first thing you do?
What?
Swear.
Good for bollocks.
Like your Tourette's, Bob.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Good front bollocks.
Yeah, that's what I said. Good front
All right.
bollocks, everyone.
Nice. Let me get my notes up for this.
You got notes. Ooh.
I've not
That's
got
all right.
notes.
Oh,
Oh,
Not
you
for-
know,
not for the
I've not
intro.
got any notes.
Well, that's that just shows how lately, Sucker, you've been just letting it go. You just not
Well,
been,
no,
I've
I've
not been
got.
putting enough into it. Like you
He
should
didn't
do.
even read the book last time.
Yeah, he didn't read the book.
I'll
He could be
finish
asked to take
I
notes.
finished that book off and I read the book as well.
And you,
I think-
to be honest, Suki, has been
Oh.
reflective in your performance, actually.
Yeah.
lacking.
What's this? Some sort of performance
Well,
review,
when
is it?
you know when you take on too much and everything gets watered down, that's the sort of vibe I've been getting from you recently. I didn't want to bring it up on live on air.
Live on air. For sake, what does this
But,
mean?
you know, I think it's about time we had your annual review meeting.
Well, you haven't done that in years, you know. So
Must
why all of a
try
sudden now?
harder.
No, and look where you've gone.
It's terrible.
Watered down.
Sleeping during the day. We should be
Yeah, sleeping in the last
Yeah, you
podcast.
slept into a whole fucking podcast. Okay, that's classic.
It was at 6 o'clock at night.
pissed up. That's what you were.
I was knackered that day, and you.
Yes.
I was totally knackered.
And we were bottom of the list. You know, he could have just stayed awake for 30 minutes more. Instead, you know, we're really deeply concerned with.
Craig, you've
But-
never been bottom of my list. You've always been there. The
Yeah.
others, yes. The others, I can give a toss about. Like
Top of his bottom list. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
Sucky darling.
It's
All
been
right,
reading my list.
maybe it's time to confess that actually was under my table all the time. Just he was with me.
I was, but bloody hell, Craig, don't tell them all. They'll want a piece of the action as well.
Having a meat feast.
Hey,
Right, idiots. Let's get this started so I don't have ages to do. I don't know what the intro is.
hello.
All right. Okay, I'll do an intro then. Welcome to All Around the Console, where a bunch of guys talk Doctor Who. We are Bob, John, Sheps, Sucky, and Craig.
Hey, well done,
remembered
John.
there,
Well
John. Well
done.
remembered.
Well done.
You had to write our names down on a piece of paper.
I made a point to not put Sheps last because everybody keeps forgetting about Sheps.
Oh.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Everyone keeps talking
Cliff.
about- Oh,
Cliff.
Cliff.
Oh, yeah. Now I know who he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. Think of
And
it.
we are going to be talking today about Doctor Who Flux Episode 2, War of the Sontarans. or-
Yeah.
What are the chapter 2?
That'll do.
Sounds grand, chapter 2, doesn't it?
Talk
rather than
about
part
it,
two?
lads. Go.
Oh, fucking hell. It was like all of the finales that have never been quite there. All the finales that never quite finished me off. Whereas this was like the best Doctor Who finale
Full word.
ever, full on, finished off,
Yeah.
drained of me of just everything. It was just amazing.
And that's just episode 2, Bob.
I know, and that's what I mean. That's
It's
why
just foreplay at
mental.
this point.
Oh my god, it was just fucking awesome. I tell you what I did love, because I think this is quite good for chatting. There's basically like 3 plot threads, weren't there? You had your sort of action Sontarans, the Crimean War.
I mean, what? Yeah.
I mean,
You had a bit more, which was just your bog standard awesome. You had Dan, which was slightly more complicated, and then you had the fucking mental planet time stuff going on, and it was 3 obvious threads, and I think they all are just dying to be put around that console.
They are just totally teasing you, aren't they? Because there are so
Yeah.
many threads that were actually started off in episode 1, like Guy and like Claire, and they were just ignored,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is great. And the story just went completely this, the planet time and all that, and as well as like you had the battle, which was the fun stuff, wasn't it? Really, that was just cool to see the Sontaran battle, but the story nicely shifting along, sidelined with planet time.
I
Then
mean,
you
you've
got
got- you've got-
underlying. Sorry, you got underlying as well. Is the TARDIS is falling apart?
Yes.
Something's happening to it all the way through it. Each time it keeps getting worse and worse. Something is happening. It's. I thought the whole lot of it was epic from beginning to
epic
end.
is the word.
Epic is
And it felt like BBC had gone, we know like they've had the ratings down for so long, let's see what we can do. And instead of just pulling out, they've put more money in. The way it was constructed with that, like, looked like a battle scene, like a Waterloo.
6 episodes, whereas
Beautiful.
usually they get 13
Yeah.
episodes worth of money into 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And also, I think Suki said in the past, wasn't it, as well, there's no filming locations abroad. So they've saved money there, haven't they?
Yes.
So
and everything's cheap as fuck in Liverpool. So
do you know,
what about you, Craig? Go for it.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was amazing. It just completely blew me away. It was like Bob said, everything thrown into this. You know, you had the Sontarans were just stunning. It had everything what Doctor Who to do. The Sontarans were great. The battle sequence, Liverpool looked amazing.
Yeah.
When they had the Sontaran ship ramming in. Oh, it was just brilliant when it rammed into the spaceships. What?
I'm just going to say, Liverpool looks great. Yes, it looks great when it's in the dark. That's what I'm saying. Like, because it was set at night.
Where are you? Whereabouts do you live, Suki? Which
I live
shithole
in
do you live in?
I live in miserable black country over here.
All right, so okay. Talking from a position of authority there.
I love the Sontaran spaceship above Anfield as well.
Yes.
In the street.
Yeah.
Just another little reference to Anfield. I adored that little bit.
But it's picked things out where people around the world, knowing of England, they know of Liverpool, they know of Manchester, they know of London, they're more likely to know of these landmarks as well. Liverpool's, you know, if you don't understand the football element of it, you've got the music element of it, and they keep touching on little bits where everyone around the world will understand. You talk about Liverpool, America will love it. You talk about the Beatles, and it had everything in, and it had proper Scouse people doing the big Scouse roar.
I love that.
Well.
Yeah.
Which
that was brilliant.
Old
Jackie
you would have had
Corkill.
that. You would
Jackie
have
Corkill
was coming up.
Jackie Corkill. It was Jackie Corkill.
It was, it was
Sue
Brookside,
Jenkins,
The lady from Brookside, wasn't it?
Yeah, Brookside.
What Cliff just said about highlighting aspects of Liverpool, which is great, because for the last 2 years they've done Sheffield, and Sheffield really is only known for, I think, the steel industry and maybe some other stuff, but that's about it
as well. It's not as great. It's not as well known. Yeah,
I mean,
at least with Liverpool, they've got all these icons that the world know about, like as it says, Anfield.
It's like when you see the live birds, and they've got the drapes come down of Sontar. It's just brilliant. And even
cool.
episode one where it pans in.
that one panning of the Liver bird. Wow.
Oh, it's just awesome. Reminds me of something Star Wars. You know, when you kind of have the Empire's flags going up. It was just fantastic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
My brother works at the docks in Liverpool.
Does he really? I love Liverpool docks. I love Liverpool.
Yeah. I don't know.
Has he seen any Sontarans?
He hasn't mentioned it. If he has, I'm not sure it was actually a thing. I think it might be fiction.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, they filmed all that during lockdown, because when I was on my birthday, if you remember, I went to Liverpool to look at some of the filming locations for it. And quite stupidly, when I was at the Liverpool Museum, I was asking about where they'd filmed so I could go and stand in the places, because I'd been to quite a few of those locations when I was there. And the woman was like, well, obviously, we know they came in and we know they panned outside, etc., but we don't know where they filmed because it was lockdown and none of us were here. At which point I kind of went,
for location work, that makes loads of sense, doesn't it? Everywhere's dead.
Yeah, it probably makes it easier for them to get around without punters taking snapshots, because we might have ruined it by people taking snapshots and putting on Twitter. We didn't get any of that.
But there was all that. There was little bits. That's
not
how
as
I
much
knew
as I think you would have.
No. You get the scene next week when the TARDIS is in the docks itself, and I think it's the bit where Dan might. Well, I thought it was Dan's first appearance in the TARDIS, but no, obviously not, because he's been already. But that's there. Or at least it's in the kind of promotional images for next week.
I tell you, one person who has outshone everyone up to now is John Bishop. So phenomenal acting. He's just such a comedic actor. It works so well. I mean. I really gelled with it. It was fun.
I don't want to put kibosh on it, but his acting's not great. He's a little bit wooden.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't mind that.
I would agree with
that.
It's more carry on. I like it. He has this carry on element of typical British carry on films. The fact they pulled out the frying pan or wok or whatever.
I loved that. Yeah,
it felt like Shaun of the Dead.
You know what?
Is typical England. We haven't got a gun. We can't pull out a gun and shoot an alien like in America. To bring out a frying pan.
But I love the way it was discovered, though, that it was some drunk guy from Birkenhead with a mallet found out by accident knocking it on the back of the head. I just love that explanation.
Birkenhead.
It's the first time Birkenhead's ever been mentioned on Not Today.
It's cool.
It also brought back vibes of an Ace, because we got this little bit where the Doctor just pulls out a catapult.
Yeah.
and she just
Yes.
knocks things
Not
right
seen
into
that
the
for a
back
long
of the
time.
Browick vet. First shot as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love that.
In essence, right, this episode is just pure fun.
Yes,
all the way
yes,
through.
I would agree. Yeah.
All the beats are such epic beats. I mean, that Doctor's klaxon, even that klaxon sound where she like,
Oh,
calls
yeah.
that guy to
She does
Zeus.
the parlay, isn't it?
That
Yeah.
was epic.
Yeah.
There's
It
tons
was
of
epic.
epic moments, and the Sontarans were typically weird, but
Oh, they were amazing.
I love
Quite
the
happy with
Sontarans.
them,
Yeah.
They were perfect. They were kind of like, I wasn't sure last week, and this week I love the fact you've got. Is it Jonathan Watson playing the command clone,
Yeah,
and then you've got Dan Starkey playing like the grunt, and I think they both do it amazingly well. They look fucking ace.
Yeah, they do.
And they just look old school, and I just loved. There was two things I loved, which were a harken back. In fact, three things that were harken back to Classic Who in that particular section. Did you not get a vibe of the war games?
Yes.
You know when, when they said, I can't remember stuff. I can't remember.
I've got a question. I've got a thing I wrote down here, which was like, were the baddies from a particular war have been switched out for aliens? I thought that had been war games in my head.
Yeah. And when they
it's-
said I can't remember, because that's that hazy memory from the people in the war games.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there was the bit where the Doctor and the Commander meet in the parlor. Do you not get the vibe of the Sontaran experiment? When they're just filming in the moors over that sort of landscape.
I got the vibe of the Master and David Tennant at the end of time, but I thought this was so much better.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't like
yeah,
that
definitely.
sequence. I thought it was ace, and just the way she's laughing and he's like really cocky. I loved that parlay sequence. It was brilliant.
There was another thing I loved as well. Links, bringing back the fact that
Yes.
Links in the
Yeah.
Time Warrior.
Yeah.
Who laid down a
I
stupid
love
flag
that.
and it
He
looked
said we laid
shit.
down the flag ages ago.
And they haven't forgotten, and they've come
Yeah.
back to do it. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And then just to finish it off, when he went, and I just came here because I wanted to ride a horse. I
And
was
that
like,
entrance scene when he comes in
brilliant.
on it is just brilliant. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just superb. Every bit about that.
And while we've got the Sontarans as a weekly baddie, we also have the overarching baddie of
Yeah.
Swarm and
Azure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were quite good and menacing, a little bit camp looking, but
Oh, amazingly camp
fine.
looking.
Works
Yeah,
perfect
quite
for Doctor Who.
fine
That's
with
what's
that.
been missing.
Yeah, but you got to think that Swarm's probably been locked away for millennia, right? And he wants to show off, and that's why he's walking around like a strutting cock, basically. He just goes, "This is the way. and This is
so
done.
funny.
I'm doing this," and so on. So yeah, them paired together were really. That was all
I'm
scenes
joined
where they're
by
really
Passenger.
menacing.
Yeah, we don't-
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Oh, where it's come from or anything. It just appeared,
There's
didn't it?
so
Like-
much mystery. Every
Yeah.
single episode doesn't really wrap up completely, so keep you hanging. It's
It's
so much like Weeping Angels. We've still got them to come.
yeah.
We've only
Well,
seen them
this is
partly
it.
once with
And-
that lady Claire.
Yeah.
The first bit, the bit that's been resolved, this one was Sontarans. That's been resolved. So
Yeah.
I think obviously the overarching thing is Swarm. And what I loved was the fact that time is unruly and evil,
Yeah.
unless kept into check. It's such a massive sort of concept to put into place that you have this planet. Have we never had a planet called Time
No.
before?
Not that I
No.
remember, no.
Because
No.
that is just fucking genius, having this planet called Time and these people keeping it all in sync as well.
You can also see that in some of the promotional material that they've been putting out as well. So if you see the Doctor Who logo, when the first episode was shown, it was
Yes.
pristine,
Yeah.
and then so on. When the second episode, just before the second,
yeah.
it started to break up.
It's kind of getting
Oh, I
distorted,
like
isn't
that.
it?
And the third one,
Yeah.
it's even more distorted. There's like
Yeah.
cracks or cobwebs or whatever it is, and that flux image, the rainbow thing that runs behind it, that's starting to split even
Yeah.
further towards the left of the screen instead of being right at the right hand
Yeah.
side of the screen. So they have got it all planned out how they're going to be promoting this stuff as they're going along.
Is this time planet right? I've just got there's so many theories. Is this time planet maybe the beginning of where Doctor Who came from?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Is it
thinking. The kind of
Earthly
origin.
Child?
Yeah, no, but I'm thinking Timeless Child. The kind
Timeless
of like
Child,
her,
sorry,
her origins,
origins.
and that she's
'Cause that-
part of this circle or whatever it is.
And not only that, you got the Claire
Ooh.
character as
Yeah.
well, and she's met before.
Yes.
What about Claire? Could she be Clara? And now the reason I think of this is there's a few people think of this online as well, because I've been on Reddit as well. She says, take the long way home. Yeah.
yeah.
Clara says, take
yeah,
the
which
long
is
way
what?
around.
Well, you see,
Yeah,
you would have
Clara.
to
Doctor
struggle. You
before.
would struggle to be able to. You can't change a person.
You
And
don't know
re-
because
repackage
the
them
way
up
she
as-
came back
Yeah.
as well.
The thing I got with
I
Claire.
hope it's not.
No, the thing I got with
I
Claire.
never liked
is-
Clara that much.
the thing I got with Claire is that she's met the Doctor in the past, and somehow she has ended up in the future.
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
how
she's
I
got all
think.
these memories.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't
So
be reading too
that's
much
why
into Claire.
Yeah, I think she's just somebody that the Doctor's met in the past,
Yeah.
and the Doctor has then transported her back to her own
Yeah.
or
yeah.
to another time
Yeah.
into the future, and that's how there's that little time loop of her
Well,
recognizing the
her
Doctor.
being in the past means the Weeping Angels would have sent her into the past because that's what they do, don't they? They send her. So she's
Yeah.
probably going to meet her next, of which be the time where she met.
That's
They did have
episode
some
4, isn't it?
timey-wimey thing going
That's,
on.
yeah,
wasn't it?
episode 4 from what
Oh,
I've been reading.
spoilers,
Yeah.
spoilers.
Oh, it's
We
just,
had-
It's
Well,
just
out-
the
that's just
trailer's
out
out.
anyway.
Everything's
Yeah.
Focus on, I've not seen it. Focus on this episode.
I've not.
Sorry.
Okay.
The trailers
Well,
come straight after, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't
But
watch it.
that's for episode 3.
Yeah, let's not worry about it. It's just a trailer.
But,
Planet Time.
Yeah,
Right,
but for me,
go
the
for it.
I
Carry on.
think it's got to be the timeless child that's got to be. I think that's
Definitely.
the
Yeah.
development, isn't it? Because they don't explain why they're taken there. They don't
Mhm.
explain who the beings are. The fact they've even called it Planet Time.
The fact
Um,
that he knows the Doctor from before, but she
Yeah.
can't remember,
Yeah.
means it's definitely a previous Doctor.
And they've been there before because they're obviously banned from there. They weren't allowed. So it's the only thing I can think of.
Chibnall's got one last season. This is
Yeah.
it. And he's got that timeless child, which people was pissed off on.
Yeah.
And some people thought it was great. I thought it was a good idea. To
It's
split
an
it
amazing
up.
idea.
He
Yeah.
wants to put a little bit more element on that, I think.
But he can't
I think-
walk away from it unfinished, can he?
No,
Because I
no.
remember reading an interview with him when he was very clear on his 3-year plan. He said, like, series 1, just keep it straightforward, simple, introduce the
Little
team,
plot thing.
breakaway, which is exactly what it was. Season 2 was going to be all about bringing in and changing, the kind of the mystery. Of
Lining
the
plot. Little
Yeah, and the
thing.
third one, he talks about this in season 2, so he didn't say what was coming next. But you can see it's got to be the development of all the seeds, because Timeless Child was there in episode 2 of series 1, wasn't it, when they were doing that race? And then it becomes a focus, the kind of mystery in the middle of season 2. And I think it's going to be the big build up, and it's just beginning to unravel, but not doing it all at once. It needs the the baddies.
I personally think the timeless child won't be addressed in this series. I think this will be just the flux and whatever the repercussions are from this thing that's happening. I think the timeless child will be addressed in the 3 specials. So you'll have it all the next year will just be the timeless child explaining what happened there. That might be my opinion. Go on, John. You had your hand raised up as well.
I'm just going to change the subject from Timeless Child constantly and theorizing because I wanted to mention Vinda and Yaz and their team up, which was really good at in the temple. What is it?
The temple.
Temple of the Mori.
Don't they look ace with their eyes, kind of the makeup and the concept of them looking there at the end? They looked really menacing. I thought,
What are we on about now?
I was thinking Yaz, but obviously they both got to have had it done.
Of course, yeah.
But literally when they're doing the countdown, and they've got all the black makeup on the face.
Vinda seems to be some sort of interesting character in that he's been brought to this place.
Yeah.
But why? Why has he been brought there as well? I can understand maybe Yaz because she's with the Doctor and maybe they know how to get it fit. But Vinda is just some sort of low-level engineer observer on an outpost somewhere.
They do sort of mention that he's done something bad or something wrong, and therefore he's at this outpost to just spend the rest of his life there monitoring. He sort of quickly glances over it when on his second watch. They say that you was responsible for this and you was on this little outpost. So I think he's there to vindicate something of which he's done wrong in the past. And hopefully we'll like to
Vindicate.
Vindicate. Boom.
Vindicate.
See, I'm getting good with words, like John.
I wasn't. Do you know what? I
No,
wasn't.
Really not.
No. I'm hopefully going forward to get to explore his background to give an explanation why.
He's the one I'm not that bothered about as a character yet. I'm just like,
Yeah, but he'll be that little Jen. He'll be that one
he will
that
be.
sacrifices
no. I'm
himself
saying.
for it or
I'm
something
saying
like
yet.
that.
I'm saying.
But we
yet.
don't. That's because we don't know him yet, do it? He's only had really tiny parts in all of it, really, and he's just been kind of subtly married up with Yaz, hasn't he? By the kind of Yaz and her new friend. That's all we've really got on him.
And we also got momentarily the Doctor saying, Dan.
Alan Partridge. I didn't hear me. Someone's done a thing on the internet where they've combined the two, and it's
I
fucking
see
brilliant.
that. Brilliant.
And the Tempura Offensive, which was classic. I thought it was funny.
But it was funny.
The-
There was a lot of funny laugh out loud stuff, in particular with Dan and Carvanista. Carvanista. Oh,
Carvanista.
I like
It's just great that the way they've utilised certain dog characteristics. I mean, he cocks his head at one stage. He comes
Oh,
out of
the
the water
shaking
and just
of
shakes.
the-
I
Yeah.
love that bit. Yeah.
That was.
And when he's
absolutely
going down the
brilliant.
tube, he kind of like, ooh, like that rather than like a screen out. It's brilliant. Really
What do we
clever.
think of the Thanos cliffhanger?
the Thanos. Oh, so she's going to take him out of time. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Is that what she's
Yeah.
going to do?
Well, we don't know. It was because everyone else has disappeared with the click or whatever, or with him making them disappear from
Touching.
time or whatever it is.
I
touching
saw that as him destroying them, but
but you
I
don't
think
know,
this
do
is
we?
something different that he's going to do now. And I do like the idea of using the Thanos click to do it.
Is that
There's a
Thanos like
cliffhanger.
Marvel, like Mark
Yes,
from Mark,
yeah.
right?
But
Right.
it's
Oh, yeah,
also
yeah.
the whole lot of it feels like a very much Chibnall's Endgame. Feels like this is the big
but
finale.
Miles better and not as bland.
Just Miles better, yeah.
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 Do you
Not
know
got Iron Man just coming in
Ironically, I was getting
spoiling
Paul
it.
Bettany vibes from Swarm.
Paul Bethany?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yes, yeah. What do you call the
WandaVision.
yeah,
yeah.
Vision. Yeah. That's what I thought it was initially. I thought it was the guy that did Vision.
Mm.
The robot repair.
Yeah.
Now that is the most classic Doctor Who Tom Baker sounding
Yes.
sort of robot-y voice I've ever heard since Tom Baker
Yeah.
time.
Invasion of
absolutely-
Time, isn't it? Almost. It reminds me of
I
that.
fucking loved it. I just was like, oh, this is just Tom Baker Doctor Who voicey kind of era thing.
The thing that with that robot, other people have highlighted the fact that it's also might be the Megara, which is from
Yes.
Stones of Blood story.
Yeah.
They had floating robots in that.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Right. So
John's like, what?
sorry, John. What?
And all the non sort of nerds are like, what are you talking about, you old nerds?
Yeah.
We love it though. We love it.
The Sirens can't shoot for shit, though, can they?
Oh,
No,
no.
I
When
was gonna
Dan's
say-
going.
yeah.
When it's down the alleyway.
Oh,
Jesus.
Although I have to
vibes.
say, the crashing of the Sontaran ship into the docks, fucking epic.
That was an
was,
amazing
yeah.
special effect. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Love it.
There-
Like they pulled out all stocks, BBC. They put a lot
Yeah,
of money in.
totally have.
And they had some really good repetitive jokes for sometimes, like when Dan is caught in the spaceship, and he does that. I'm looking for Pier Ed, and then he turns around and there's a whole army.
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
I'm looking for Pier Ed,
Yeah.
and I just thought it was brilliant. That repetition, it's simple, but it just brought the humor in.
There was a certain bit about where John's going on about the ship crashing into all the other ships, the Sontaran ship. That was a great visual that you
Yeah,
saw. Brilliant. Then people were highlighting, so where's all the wreckage? Where's all this? But because it was a temporal, they were all temporal ships.
Tempura.
They've just
Tempura.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
brilliant.
Tempura.
Yeah.
they've probably just vanished into time or just
Yeah.
vanished away. They've never existed. Whatever you'd like to say.
While we're on this tempura time stuff, so this is how I have it in my head, because I got lost a bit the first watch. I watched it second time. So the Sontarans snuck through the what they called
Lipari.
Lipari just that second before, which is cool. And they're fitting like time stuff to their spaceships so they can temporarily go through Earth or whatever. But the first little group have gone off to the Crimean War. Is that
Yes.
have I read that
Yeah.
right?
Because
Yeah.
they want to manipulate time, but that's where they
Yeah.
start off.
But that
almost.
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the planet time and the swarm stuff. It
No.
was just its
No.
own right.
Not that
Cool.
we know.
Just
Not that we know.
Not that
of.
we know. Yeah.
It wasn't. I just thought in
Well-
case I missed something. That was all.
But
It was-
you could say it could be something to do with the time thing, though, Bob, because just in case I did somehow manipulate something in the past, and this has repercussions of whatever's happening in the future, and that's why you've had all these things suddenly change.
Yeah.
You never know.
But in fact, the intro. So there was a black and white bit with a crooked house at the beginning. which was
Yeah,
in the Doctor's
was
mind.
awesome.
Which was so that follows on from when the Flux is coming to TARDIS, which we see in the cliffhanger, to her seeing the crooked house, and then they end up in the Crimean War. The crooked house. I don't know if we can read too much into that, but that was completely out of this kind of whole thing. What is the
Well,
crooked house all about? The black. and
Yeah,
white
because
crooked
it's
house?
not even connected. It's like a planet. Oh, it's like
Well, no,
it's freestanding. It's floating, isn't
Yeah.
it? If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
It's like out of time.
Yeah.
Something's locked.
It wasn't the house that Di went into, is it? Because I
No.
looked and that's what I wondered, but I couldn't see any of it. It was just literally just there. And it
But
was like,
but it's at that point of for the Flux the Crooked House, the Doctor scene in black and white, and then the back into this Crimean War when you've got the Sontarans, and that was great. The Russians, no, it's Sontarans, and they're taking of Russia and China. It was just what a epic beginning.
Yeah, again, we've got Doctor Who. It's got this episode is good because it's got so many things, as everybody's already said already. But also we've got the classic Doctor Who thing of a famous person.
Yes, Mary Seacole,
and just highlight their actual role in and like, because that's not a well-known.
Well, it's quite significant as well because of her being mixed race person at the time. And some ones were easily glossed over in history pages, like to whitewash.
Well, I think it's great for kids
to bring someone up. It's really good.
The GCSE English Lit stuff has a poem in it about rewriting history and telling history from a Jamaican point of view that all GCSE kids have to do. And there is a paragraph on her in it. So I think it's a really nice way of bringing the kids in. In fact, I was reading it earlier on. I was going to bring it through because Matt was doing some private tutoring and I saw it. It's like, this is literally what this story was about, rewriting history.
I'd never heard of her before. So it was, again, most of my knowledge comes from watching Doctor Who over the years.
I'd never heard of her.
Historic knowledge, anyway, comes to that, whether it's right or wrong. And it was great, because, again, that's what Doctor Who is.
Well, we've got the Charge of the Light Brigade. We've got the Light Brigade and everything, which is the famous battle in Crimean War, isn't it?
Yeah. And that battle scene, fucking hell! I never thought we'd see.
I've never seen something like that.
Not in Doctor Who, but like I never thought we'd see something so vast in scale. In Doctor Who, it was just unbelievable.
It was like watching BBC do Waterloo, wasn't it? Something like that. Or,
the ABBA track.
Yeah, the ABBA track. Oh, like Tolstoy's War and Peace. It was like full on. They just threw money in, and it worked. It looked really, really good. The battle scenes and the CGI into it. Yeah, there's a couple of little dodgy bits, but there's nothing all about. But there's a couple of more. For every dodgy bit, there's a great line in itself. Yeah, that's what it was always needed.
When the Doctor's rambling away doing whatever she does, and she says, "Are you expecting an answer to your
musings?" The musings, that's good.
Yep, totally accurate.
Put your hands on your head, and he goes to do it, and then does his hair. Oh, just do that. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and there's other lines that I've written down that I can't find now. But yeah, it's lots of good stuff. Your body shall soften our steps is a fantastic line.
The Sontaran, every line I thought was just brilliant. And they had the comedy element, which they've kind of had in the new series a lot. But they
managed to balance it with them being both funny and tragic and also callous and evil.
Yeah, exactly. When they killed off the people, the Sontarans.
That's the scene I was... Yeah, that's the scene I was expecting Dan to step up and just save him, but it didn't happen. And they were
he would have made it stupid. He would have saved him with a walk. Get it? You know what I mean?
And then there's the other shit where they actually show the Sontarans and the way that they have to live, and that's when the one that's been in the hospital and then comes back. He's considered a failure because he didn't die or didn't die in battle or whatever. Yeah. So even though he's got information, he's still executed. Yeah. This is the ruthless side of the Sontarans.
The Sontarans again just were brilliantly played.
Perfectly written. It kept the pompousness from the old style of Doctor Who. Yeah, they tried to spin them off in any other way.
Incredibly arrogant. Kind of stupid, but not stupid as in laughable stupid. Just I think it was more arrogant. So the fact that they could go off altogether for 7.5 minutes, refueled every 27 hours, because they don't care about humans, as in like they just think they're so pathetic. They won't be found as well because they're behind this chameleon.
They're hoisted on their own petards.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
We do get another cloister bell as well, don't we?
Yes.
And
I thought the way that it showed the Sontarans being pompous and
I tried to change subjects. Cliff's not having it.
Sorry.
Go on, Cliff.
all right.
Sorry, go on.
Because they're pompous and bloodthirsty and stupid in the sense that they just want fighting. It was a good reflection showing the English general doing the exact same. He knew there was no way to beat them, but he was just as pompous, just as bloodthirsty. And he could understand with all what they've done in the battle, there wasn't even any Sontaran soldiers dead on the floor. So what he was doing was...
I don't think that general was bloodthirsty. I think he was genuinely just arrogant.
He just thought... With his overwhelming forces,
he had his duty to do, and he was going to do it regardless of how fucking stupid it was.
And it was good that he came and got help when it all had happened. And
Sontarans would have done that.
Exactly, and that's what put the humanity on him. And I tell you what, when the Doctor gets told to piss off or whatever by him, and she does the little Vulcan finger, I'm going to call it, and knocks that guy out. That was
Yes.
a cool little.
Not seen that for a while.
That was cool. Bit of
That is
Venusian
a-
fingering or whatever it was.
Yeah, John Pertwee thing. That
Oh,
was.
fuck
Yeah,
I was
Venusian,
gonna-
Venusian.
I was gonna
Yeah.
fucking say that, but you got them.
Yeah,
before me, didn't you?
sucky. Let
When he
John
used to
have
do
a
his,
bit
like,
of
choo, choo,
Doctor
choo.
knowledge.
Well, I apologise, John. You carry on.
No fucking way.
You're doing a great
dead.
job. You're doing a
You're
great
dead
job,
to me.
John.
You're dead to me now. At least I sleep in for this one, eh? So,
Hey.
Well, you know the way you've been talking, I feel like falling asleep as it is.
Oh.
I'm going to edit this in exactly the wrong way. I'm going to cut
Yeah,
that
you're
line.
doing the edit.
Cut
You're
it.
doing the editing. Oh my god!
The
lu-
Oh, dear.
The Lieutenant Blood of the
John,
Sontaran ship also reminded me, of the Prime Minister in the David Tennant era. What's her name? You know who I
Harriet
am.
Jones.
When she blows up, when Torchwood, and she blows up at the end of the is it the Christmas Invasion or what the other one?
That's right. Yeah, because she says we can't always be waiting
Yeah,
for the Doctor
and
to be
it-
here, so we have to do it.
It was that kind of the killing the aliens no matter what. It really took me back to that scene.
That scene as well. That's one of the things that was a bit of a problem for me because I knew that they only had a 7-minute window and they've already done a bit of exploring. They've already gone around doing whatever they do with the gases, but they still managed to get all the ships to have explosives put under them. So he must have had an army.
He had
there.
all his army, didn't he? He had his army.
Yeah, he said they were going to
most
involve
of
the army.
Yeah, but most of his army.
7 minutes is loads. That's like 2 shags.
Including the time it takes to eat the pizza.
But the dog
Give me
doesn't like
top
it. No, the dog doesn't like it, Cliff. You got to stop.
I loved it when Calvin.
Talking of dog, Dan and Dog, their
When
mutual
Calvinist
respect
comes
nod at
into
the
it,
end.
Yeah, mutual respect. No, that was cool.
Like
Love it.
that.
I did like that. Yeah.
I hope we see him again. I hope that's not the end of him.
Oh, I don't think we're the end of it. I think it's going to be right through.
Calvinist
Yeah.
has to be back. It's one of the best characters ever created in Doctor Who.
I think so too.
The bit that we've not touched on, it was only a very small bit, was the Victorian guy who was again on the planet Time.
Yeah, why was
There's a
he
mystery
there?
there. There's a
Yeah.
mystery
William.
there.
That has not been explained in the slightest. We got a tiny touch of it last week, and this week he's just there again, lost.
And he was saying that none of you understand what's at stake here and all
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So he's definitely got
There's
something under the works. He's going to get an ep.
Yeah, there's
think
something
with-
there.
I think with Chip though, he's very clever. He likes the long play, like his Broadchurch and stuff like that is written. He loves playing with it, and he knows that
Magically,
there's an end game.
he's managed to do both an episodic and a serialized episode.
Perfect. Yeah.
So he's done both. We've covered all the slots.
Sorry, Suki, go on.
I was just going to say that's the thing with the Williamson character that suddenly appears, right?
Who?
As he
The old guy.
Victorian guy.
Victorian guy.
1820s guy. Yeah.
So if he's there, is he digging for a port? Is there a portal somewhere on planet Earth that takes you to this
Are you
planet of
asking a
time?
question about the plot?
I am.
that
I'm
nobody's
just
been told?
speculating.
You're
I'm
asking
John's
a
not the
question
DM
whether
for
we know.
Doctor Who.
I am speculating.
Roll
there-
perception, sir.
Is that why he's that may be why he's kind of building.
I'll get me guy out in a second.
But you're
But,
right. Maybe he's on which side is he on though? That's
Yeah.
the,
Well, that's
But
the thing.
also, the other
Yeah.
thing I've thought is maybe there isn't a portal, but the actual Temple of the Maori is actually on Earth, and planet Earth, as at one stage, was called Time. That's why
Gallifrey was.
And the Doctor is half
Gallifrey.
human.
I think they
and the
linked
other thing is,
Gallifrey
remember,
stronger
there's a
than the
lot of
Earth one.
stuff. There's a lot of stuff that happens on planet. I mean, I know it's because it's made. The program was actually made on Earth, but there's a lot of stuff.
Good
that
job
does
you know
happen
that.
on Earth. There's a lot of invasions. There's a lot of attack. There's a lot of stuff that happens over the last 50 odd years of Doctor Who, centered on the planet Earth. So why is that? Is it perhaps because time is
Comes
being
from there.
the planet Earth is time, and it's just been attracted to that place?
Nah, don't think so.
No, I think you've
That's
got
very complex.
Oh, man.
Could do. Could be.
It'd be
Who knows?
great. It'd be good though. I'd say Suki. It's very
I
creative.
think it'd be too
Thank
hard
you.
to write with all the canon.
I think it'd be too difficult
much
to
crossing
mix.
over lots of different stories.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
what
It's more likely to begin the beginning of Gallifrey.
Gallifrey.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Gallifrey.
Galfrey.
Galfrey.
No, I can't even say it properly. What John said.
What were you saying, Bob?
I was just going to say, I love the fact that there's so much to sort of theorize about, but there's still a simple sort of narrative and plot.
And it's fun.
and
as
it's
well.
fun and it's exciting. And one's been put to bed, and that sort of bit, like I said initially about the time. So the Sontaran bit was the fun and the awesome, just action, and there was a bit more there, with the characters and how they were, represent themselves. But the time bit, the swarm and all these bits, the Victoria guy, all this sort of mystery still going on. But we from the pieces that were laid down in the first episode, Sontaran's done. But now we're moving on into the next bit, and this is just so exciting because all the pieces were put into place in the finale of the first episode. Like I say, they're just getting put to bed as you go. And I know that it was because of COVID that they had to make a 6-parter, but it's kind of like one of them fate things, isn't it? They probably wouldn't have done it like this. They'd have done the 10 parts, a single episode with a recurring arc theme or whatever like normal. This has given us something that, more budget, more time, more,
Meaty.
oh my God, just... So thank you,
It reminded
COVID.
me a little bit like when it first started with the Bad Wolf.
Yes.
That arc, and then it was a massive big reveal at the end. But this was
is
so much
clever.
more detail,
Yeah,
so
it's
much
miles
more
better.
money put in. It feels like I said, BBC is a bit of not a last attempt, but let's change things for the better.
Yeah.
Give him everything he wanted to do.
Well, it was quite nice to see, just talking viewing figures for a second, that for the first time, I think in a while, that part 1 was actually in the top 10. Which I know it's always done well, but it's kind of slipped down the charts a little bit over the last. So it was actually back in the top 10 again, which was lovely to see. But yeah, just at the end of part 2, I have no idea where it's going to go. I mean, I've seen the trailer, but I have no idea where it's taking us. Because at the end of part 1, you kind of knew it was doing the Sontaran battle, but there's nothing even in the title for the next episode, Once Upon a Time. What's it going to be about? Is it going to be the planet time, or is it going to go completely elsewhere? It's really open at the moment.
What's everybody's opinion on Jodie's performance of the Doctor in this episode?
Fantastic.
Right.
Absolutely owning everything she does.
All of them were brilliant.
She resolutely is one of my favorite Doctors now.
Yeah. She's class. She's class.
It wasn't one where she was always on the screen.
No.
But there was so much other character building as well, which sometimes in the past Doctor Who has been like, it's just about the Doctor and his companions have just gone to one side and you've not really got the story of them. But this one is very cleverly kept everyone working.
Yeah, we got rid of enough companions from last season to make it so that it was easy enough to manage, I think.
Well, we've still got 3, haven't we? Because we've still got Dan and we've just got 2, haven't we? Dan and so we've got rid of the third.
It's more ensemble, and also that was great for the plot purposes as well, because you had the Doctor in one, Dan in one, and Yaz in another.
Yeah.
It's like the old Terrence Stick stuff, isn't it?
And he sort of put me in the thing. But what I love about just on Jodie is her Doctor is, and she's always done this. It's not all about her.
Yeah,
it's about the team. It's about bringing people in. Like when she used Mary Seagull. Great. Use your strengths. The observation, all that kind of thing.
And it's who are you? I'm your assistant. She becomes the sideline, doesn't she?
But brings it on in this. She doesn't have the arrogance of pomposity of previous Doctors, and I think that's a really cool, unique thing of her.
She's not mentioned Fran once this season, has she?
Well, this is it. There's been things that have sort of maybe grated on other people.
What, her being a female? They fucking has.
That have just
Don't try to
I'm not saying again. And so they've gone for any little thing that she does that isn't the norm, or not that is the norm that other Doctors have done, and they've just gone, this doesn't look as good on this Doctor, this character, the way that she's playing it. Now, for some reason, these last 2-3 episodes, she's just suddenly gone even further up a notch, and that she can really, really highlight the dramatic bits without anything else.
It's annoying that her term is coming to an end now, because she's proper got into swing of it now, and we're getting into swing of it. And I think she's found a groove.
She's getting back into a stride. It's getting into a stride of which wasn't on previously.
Crazy.
She's getting into them.
I think that is absolutely the same with every single Doctor. And I think that's what really miffed me off at times in series 1 and 2 when everyone was slating her. You look at David Tennant or Matt Smith in their first series, and they were growing into it, and they absolutely develop as a character. And that's exactly what Jodie's done. Season 1, she was a bit shaky at times, but I really enjoyed it. Season 2, brilliant. Season 3, she just knocks it out the park. That scene where she's running around the TARDIS and she can't get in, and she's looking back at the Sontarans. And I thought, she is acting really brilliantly here. And then there'll be people criticising crappy little irrelevant things.
Do you
Like,
know? Do you know what? I am genuinely. I've come full circle with the Jodie Whittaker thing. Obviously, 11 when we were reviewing it, I didn't like it. Blah blah. I've gone back and watched it. Love it. Love it. Series 12 is one of my favorite. This is definitely
Brilliant
becoming one of my
season 12.
favorites. And I'm not ready. I've always been ready for the Doctor to regenerate and change. Always. Not in a bad way. Just ready for a bit of fresh.
Well, you see, I think
I'm not ready.
I think it feels like for the other ones that they've had enough time to bed, and now we're at a time we can see the change coming. Now it feels like the change is going to happen too early.
I totally agree.
And
I said this last week.
And do you know what I'm most gutted about? The fact that they're going back to Russell T Davies because it's
Backward
come so
steps.
far. They've changed, and then they're just going backwards. I'm not up, like I don't know. I like the RTD. It was all right, but they've come so far, and it's so amazing.
Again, I think we're at the situation where we're preempting what will happen.
Yeah, I think
it could be mint because.
Oh, no, I'm not. It'll be
to be
good.
fair, Chibnall's still getting a bashing.
Is it?
Is he?
I've not
Still
looked at
getting a
anything. I
bashing.
don't. Oh, it's
Yeah,
And
I
yet,
read-
the
I
last
read
two
a few
episodes,
things.
if that hasn't changed your opinion on Chibnall and realised that it wasn't Chibnall's fault what was happening, it was the constrictions that he was under
Yeah.
affecting it, then you're idiots.
I mean, that's. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying that's how I feel. You know. It's
Yeah,
like-
no, yeah, I understand that.
No, I agree.
Go to what you say about RTD, right? After he left Doctor Who, he went and created some really, really good dramas.
Oh, yeah. And he had done
that
before
have
as well.
And he's moved on from
Yeah,
Doctor Who,
I think
and
so
then he'll
too.
bring that experience, right, to a
It'd be
new
interesting.
version of Doctor
It'd be
Who.
Well, and
interesting.
it's a wait and see. It's more like I don't
Yeah.
feel ready, and I've always felt ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everybody should look at it, the RTD return with open eyes. Just
Oh, yeah. No, I'm
no
not,
expectations. The expectations is what ruins it for everybody.
no, exactly. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying for the first time.
I'm not saying you are. I'm
ready.
just saying that
Yeah.
we should.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
always
It,
think that,
it does feel too soon, not only because we're only just getting to know this Doctor and her mannerisms and all this, but also maybe because time that she's actually had, the stories, etc. That this season with being short, even though the episodes are sometimes longer, we just don't seem to have that brevity of the different experiences and conflicts, whatever she's had.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
reckon?
exactly what you just said there, Craig. Is they've gone and taken the story that they need to tell, and they've put it into an episode, whether it's short or long, to be able to tell that story, which is great. I like the fact that they're actually changing the length of the episode to be able to.
Because
do
1
what they
hour,
wanna do.
it was that didn't feel even 1 second on Sunday night. There was any padding in the War of the Sontarans, and it was an hour long, and it could have been longer still.
Yeah. Well, next week
Lots
is
happened.
50 minutes.
Is it?
So
I don't-
again, so it's gone down.
Right. So, guys, we've been talking for 3/4 of an hour on this. So, I'd like to go around and ask you all just your final thoughts. We'll start with Bob.
I think, to be honest, I've covered everything I have to say. I was just so happy and proud, and just couldn't wait to talk about this. And I'm just incredibly excited for next week and just all of it. One thread down, we're on to the next one. I just think this is the best I've ever seen Doctor Who.
Okay, Bob, I'm going to ask you for 2 words that describe your experience of episode 2.
I'm just blown away. Just blown
That-
away.
that'll
by
do.
it.
Blown away is
just blown
fine.
away. It's just incredible.
Shepsy Doodle, it's your turn. What's your last thoughts?
Brilliant, really enjoying it. The thing is with Chibnall is you think, what if he would have written these big stories in the previous seasons? Would people be more on board with him? It's a bit of a shame that they haven't come on board. Some just people out there just nasty for the sake of nasty. The actual episode, if you're not enjoying this is pure British sci-fi
I don't
fun.
know what you want.
Carry on, laughs with dark elements.
What's your
Excellent.
2 words?
Jizztastic.
Nice. That's 1 word with a hyphen, but we're gonna. It's fine. It's fine. Craig.
I'm actually quite shocked that people are I've deliberately avoided anything online to do with the kind of opinions of people because I didn't want that negatives that surrounded some of this era. But I'm actually quite surprised because I think, like Cliff said, this is amazing Doctor Who. How can you not love this? But for me, what I was really thrilled about was to see the Sontarans. I've always loved the Sontarans, and I think they didn't take a baiting because I loved how Moffat did them, but they kind of they tipped the balance from scary to comedic under Moffat for me, and they did it well. But I'm just glad to see it back up there. And there's some awesome moments in this, like when he arrives on the horse and stuff. So for me, it was just that was what I loved about it, and to see Jodie acting out the part, really, knocking it out.
the Sontaran mentioning that he'd only gone to Sebastopol in the Crimean War because he wanted to ride a
Yeah,
horse.
I just thought it was excellent.
Best line.
Two words, Craig. How to summarise?
I'm just going to go with bloodthirsty, and I'm going to go with fun, which is dead straightforward. So it's the
Okay.
two elements of the story for me.
Okay, Suki, last thoughts?
It's such a great story. This great episode. This one, it brought out the best of Jodie. It brought another aspect to Yaz's character where she got to do her own thing away from the other people that sort of
What would the
overshadowing
Doctor
her.
do?
Yeah, what would the
Yeah,
Doctor
I
do?
love that.
Which
Yeah,
also,
really
this
cool.
is also
Yeah.
highlights Yaz's mental issues that she had when she was growing up. So she's got this sort of little mantra thing on the bottom, on the palm of her hand, which is great.
I think what would the Doctor do is essentially fake it till you make it. That's what the attitude she's going for.
I thought it was what would Terence Dix do, but there you go.
Yes.
Just on the Yaz issue, something I forgot to mention last week, and I don't want to go into it too much necessarily because we're going around the table, but in the first episode, when they escape at the very beginning from the kind of the flying things, and they land in the TARDIS, they land on a bed.
They land on a trampoline. And
Is
then
that trampoline?
Trampoline, then
Oh,
on
I
the
thought
bed.
it was a bed.
A mattress.
Well, they
So,
end up
A
on
mattress. I thought it was a mattress. All right, but what is the mattress doing there like that?
in case they
Well,
fall
they'll have a
into
bed
in
the
case they fall through into the trampoline.
TARDIS would have put
Obviously.
it there, I think.
Right, okay.
Of a feeling they've probably had this sort of thing happen to them before. They've decided they ain't going to land on a hard TARDIS floor. There's a mattress.
I like that better.
Oh, they've been proper
Oh,
boning in between episodes.
Yeah, that's what.
Which I really hope they're not going to go down that line. But it's
Well,
like,
that's right. So, Suki, final words and 2 words.
Grand epic.
Nice. So, thank you, everybody, for listening to us ramble on about it. And we'll pick you up next week.
Thanks, John. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Actually, no. None of that is true because...
Oh, yeah. Got Suki in that way.
All right, so how am I going to link this?
Just say thank you. Here's Suki talking to his family, and who else is on it?
So everybody, thank you very much. We will be back next week talking about it. But in the meantime, here's Suki and some other people doing some feedback. Roll VT.
I love that little sway
I
there.
like it.
That was awesome. Smooth.
Hey, need
Right,
a
cool.
top hat to
Bye,
do that.
That's it. I'm going to stop recording.
Bye, YouTube.